All right. Good morning, Merrill Memorial Library watchers. Miss Jill here. Jocelyn, hello. So today we're gonna make 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies. So we chose to do this because in our town, in Yarmouth, Maine, there is very little flour. We can't find flour. We don't have a lot of flour in our house. And so we said, what can we do? What can we do where we don't need flour? So we found the 3-ingredient cookie recipe, and so we're gonna make them, and we're gonna see if it really works and see how delicious they are. And so the first thing you do always, put that in there. First thing you do before you cook or handle food or do anything is wash your hands. Right. So Joss has washed her hands. I've washed my hands, and so now I'm going to turn this around, and we're gonna look at the ingredients that we need. So we have got our peanut butter, we have got an egg, and we've got our sugar. So there are our 3 ingredients. So it says in a lot of the recipes, you can use creamy peanut butter or you can use chunky. It doesn't matter, crunchy. Depends on your preference for having peanuts in your cookies. It does, a lot of them say don't use the natural stuff with oil, but we have found it does not make a difference. It works perfectly fine. So this is just a, creamy peanut butter. So the first, and then we have not tested this recipe with another kind of butter, like an almond butter or a sun butter or anything like that. So we're not sure if that will work. So if you want to test it or try it, what do you have to lose? All the ratios are 1, 1, 1. So 1 egg, 1 cup,
1 cup,
and that's it. So if you have a cup of almond butter or sun butter and you want to try that, give it a go. The worst that can happen is, I don't know, you have different cookies, and it doesn't seem like it could be bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here with our egg. So we're gonna crack our egg in the bowl.
Did we mention we have to preheat the oven to 350?
Oh, there you go. Say that again.
Preheat the oven to 350 degrees.
Okay, right. So your oven is preheated to 350 when you bake, right? So we have preheated our oven. So now we have our egg in the bowl. And then, of course, after cracking the egg, Joss is washing her hands. It's okay. Washing your hands while you're cooking more often than not is not a bad thing. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our peanut butter. And we are going to, here, we'll turn this around. We're going to kind of do this. So we've got our scoop.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. It's okay. It's okay to make a mess. Joss is getting peanut butter on the stove. That's okay.
I'm not good with spoons.
We can clean it.
You know what? You do it.
That's what's beautiful about it. You're doing fine.
No, you do it.
All right. So
I'm not good with spoons.
All right. Spoons are difficult. In case anybody, So you're just gonna. We use. We find that we use the half-cup measuring cup because it's just easier to manipulate and fit into our our containers. And so Joss right now is going to measure out our sugar. The half-cup scoop just fits right inside this container I happen to have. And this is white sugar, granulated sugar. You can also use brown sugar if you want a more caramel flavored, butterscotch flavored kind of a cookie, because the caramel coloring in the brown sugar will give your cookie a slightly different taste and texture. Again, I guess you can experiment. That's still considered 1 ingredient. There are lots of recipes. If you start looking where people will they'll say just add a little bit of baking soda or add some vanilla, but we find that then turns it into a 5-ingredient or 4-ingredient cookie, and we only want to do the 3 ingredients. So now we are, what am I doing here? So I'm going to turn this around. Okay, so there we go. We've got our sugar, half cup. Here's our second half cup. So now we have 1 cup of sugar, we have 1 cup of peanut butter, and we have 1 egg, and we're just going to mix it together. This is really good for beginner cooks because it's not too complicated, although it is very thick, and it does take some arm muscle. So if you get a little tired, you can get someone to help you stir it up. Generally, Joss starts it, and I give it the last swirl. You will want to make sure you really mix in your egg so that it's not all yolky. And so the way that this works, the science behind this is that normally in cookies you have some kind of fat, like butter. So this time your fat is your peanut butter. So that is taking over for the fat in the cookie. The sugar, the crystals inside the sugar will melt and spread, helping your cookies have some spread. And then the egg, the yolk and the white, also the white will give a little lightness to the cookie, and the yolk is density, and it will bind your cookie. So it binds the fat and the sugar together so your cookie doesn't fall apart.
If you are a beginning baker and don't know how to identify if there's still egg, it's basically just, if it's super like greasy and wet, there's probably still, like, well, I don't know if you can see this, but this right here, that's definitely more egg.
Yeah, so it's kind of shiny, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Shiny, the word? Yeah, so you want to make sure you really stir it up well, because if you don't, there's no place for the egg to hide in these cookies with only 3 ingredients, and you will kind of end up with like a spot of yolk. All right, so I'm going to just do this, and so we've got, okay, yeah, so we've got our batter all mixed up. If you wanted to add chocolate chips, you could. We are not going to for our first batch, just because we want them to be pure 3 ingredients, because technically, I guess I don't know if that's a 4th ingredient technically, or just an add-in or
just an add-in
adaptation. Yeah. So, all right. So your batter will be very, very thick, because in essence, it's really just peanut butter that you've thickened with, with the egg and the sugar. So then you want to take your pan. So we have baking sheets that are like the airflow baking sheets. They're nice and thick, and generally with a sheet like this, you do not need parchment paper. A lot of ingredients when you make a lot of recipes when you make cookies will say, put parchment paper. If you have old baking sheets or baking sheets with lots of, I don't know, that aren't kind of cookie sheets, you can add your parchment paper, which is, this, and you can put it onto, because I have the airflow pans, I'm just going to use these. So now we're just going to use these. All right, so now we're going to ball up our dough into just nice little, about 1 tablespoon or so. There's some people, you'll read recipes where they have their scoop, or I'm just using a spoon, literally a 1 tablespoon spoon in my fingers, and here, and we're just making our cookies. So there we go. I mean, you can just use your fingers, your hands all by themselves, and you roll them up into some nice even balls. This cookie sheet, most cookie sheets, you only want to put 12 cookies on any cookie sheet. Don't overcrowd. These don't spread a ton, because without the butter, they're not like high spreading cookies, but you still don't want to crowd them. So this recipe makes about 1.5 dozen. It makes about 18 cookies. If you're doing your math, 1 dozen is how many?
12.
And half is
6.
So 6 plus 12. 18. I know, I just said it, and now I'm asking. Oh, such a mom thing to do. So now that we have our nice ball-shaped cookies, here we go. Okay, so the thing you can do, the classic peanut butter look, is right there.
Peanut butter cookie look.
Peanut butter cookie look is you press down first one way and then the other with a fork, and it gives you that nice, neat grid on the top. It's kind of this classic. So if anyone's ever eaten a peanut butter cookie before and seen it, this is the big secret. This is how they do it. You press it down with a fork.
Pretty easy to guess
Really
when you're eating it.
Yeah, probably. But so you want to press down on all your cookies so that your whole pan.
Basically, you're already spreading them out, and they're not going to spread out a lot more.
Yeah, they really don't spread out much more than this. So you have basically shown what this sheet of cookies is going to look like when it's done. So yeah, don't press too hard, or else you'll break right through your cookie, which really won't hurt the cookie, but just for your own sake when it's cooked, when it's finished later. So now we have our tray of peanut butter cookies. And so the recipe calls for them baking for 6 to 8 minutes. With our oven, we just happen to know we need a little longer than that. We need about 10 minutes or 8 to 10 minutes. So we are going to put them in there. And there they are. And we're gonna close our oven door. And so those will cook. You'll know they're done so you set your timer. You know, like I said, we'll set ours for 10 minutes because that is basically our oven. But I would check them at about 8 minutes if you, so they should be a little bit puffy, but they will harden when they cool. So once they're finished, we have, because we didn't want to make you wait 10 minutes to finish this, we've got, here are our finished products of cookies. Yeah, well, I'm still going to show it, yeah. So you can have a nice glass of milk. These are our local artists made these fun monster cups. And so you can take your cookie and you can cheers it. And I like to dip mine in milk because it's really, really good. And then you can try them out. What do you think?
They're really good.
They're delicious. 3 ingredients. That's it.
But I might have got a bite of egg.
It won't hurt you. Everything is cooked. And so that's it. 3 ingredient peanut butter cookies. If you make them and you want to take a picture of yourself eating one of your cookies and send it to the Merrill Memorial Library Facebook page, we would love to see it. Or maybe just a picture of your beautiful plate of cookies. That would be okay too. And it's beautiful and sunny right now in the morning, but it's supposed to be rainy later. So this is a great rainy afternoon thing to do. And delicious too. You can share them with your family and maybe even some of your neighbors. Put them on their doorstep, brighten up their day with a very simple, easy to make, delicious cookie. Enjoy your day. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, I should say, we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, where we do ukulele. We're gonna show you some simple chords of the ukulele and play a song. And so hopefully you join us then. Thanks a lot.
Bye.